Hello Hearties, it's Catherine here, and today I want to talk to you about the importance of allowing your potential client to make their own decision during your sales conversation or your sales process. One of the biggest mistakes that you can make during your sales conversation is to appear to make that decision on behalf of the client and then try and sort of shoehorn them into it. And you'll know what I mean because you've probably been on the receiving end of this yourself, where you turn up to a sales situation and it's absolutely clear that before you even got there, the person concerned had decided that you were going ahead, and the whole thing just feels like it's really much more about their agenda than your best interests. So doing this, making the decision for the client, has more than one negative consequence. So first of all, if you veer into appearing to have made the decision for them and then you try and shoehorn them into it, you're actually more likely to push them away. You can really easily lose a client who would almost definitely have bought from you if you'd just given them a bit more space to make their own decision. And secondly, if the potential client feels that the decision to work with you is their decision rather than your decision, they're going to be far more committed to that decision, much less likely to doubt it, much less likely to have buyer's remorse and contact you to cancel, and far more committed to the overall process, which means they're more likely to get great results. So it's going to be good for them. It's also going to be great for your business. However, when I talk about not making the decision for them, I also don't mean being passive. This isn't about going, oh, here you go, this is what I do, now you know what I do, you can come and find me when you need me. Because human beings just don't work like this. You do still need to make a strong recommendation or a strong invitation and clearly communicate what you do and why and how that can benefit the client. So there is a bit of a fine line here, I admit. So this is just a bit of a quick guide to what to do and what not to do when it comes to helping your client to make their own decision. So first of all, a fairly obvious distinction perhaps, but there are really two levels of decision in a sales conversation. The first is your decision, and this is the decision that yes, you really can help this person. Yes, you do believe that it's the right decision for both parties, and you feel totally congruent about going ahead and recommending that they work with you. Then there's the second decision, which is the decision that the client makes, and the client only really gets to come to their decision if your decision is a yes first, because you're then going to make that strong recommendation and communicate it clearly. And the client's decision is, of course, whether or not they want to go ahead and work with you. And the mistake that a lot of small business owners make is thinking it's all about step one, and as soon as they have determined that they can help, often within about 5 minutes of starting the conversation, they jump straight into making the offer. And it doesn't matter how much good intention you have at this stage, this only comes across as pushy to that potential client. So what not to do, I think I've already said this, but what not to do is don't tell the potential client what they need and don't tell them what they should do. Most of us have at least some sort of inner rebel that pushes back when we're told what to do, and almost none of us like being told what we should do by somebody else. So if you want there to be a chance that your client buys from you, whatever you do, don't be the one that tells them what to decide. And also, don't tell them that they're making a mistake if they decide not to go ahead. The decision wholly needs to rest with them. So here's what you do need to do. First and foremost, listen to the client. Really listen to them. Don't make assumptions. Don't jump in with your own opinions. Even if it is crystal clear within the first 10 minutes of starting to talk to them that working with you is going to change their life profoundly forever, if you jump in and start telling them that, it's likely to feel too quick. they won't feel fully heard yet, and it's more likely to sound as though you're just in it for your own gain. Do provide all the information that the client might need to make their decision, and it's absolutely your job to do this. If you don't explain clearly how it all works, what they're going to get, how they're going to benefit, either verbally in your sales conversation or in some sort of written format, whether in a document or on a sales page, if you don't do that, then there is no way that your client can know, unless they have some sort of psychic ability, of course. Once you've provided the information, or alongside providing the information, it's also very important that you communicate this in terms of the benefits to them. And this is about the difference between the features, so i.e. what's included, how does it work, and the actual benefits to that client. So in other words, imagine that for everything you tell them about working with you, they are responding with the question, so what? What's in it for me? So you need to be telling them and communicating in terms of what's in it for them, so that as you're talking, they're listening and they're thinking, oh my gosh, yes, I really do need this. Oh my gosh, yes, I think I should do this. So it's like the client is telling themselves what they need and what they should do rather than you telling them. And this whole thing of learning how to articulate the value of what you do is one of the most important things that you can learn to do in your business, because it's going to help you to serve your clients by communicating the clear benefits of the work, which helps them to make their decision more easily. The next thing I recommend you do is make a clear recommendation. There is a really big difference between making a recommendation or an invitation and then leaving someone to make their own decision and respecting the fact that they're able to do that, compared to actually telling them what they should do. So it's actually really important that you do make a clear recommendation to work with you. So something like, based on what you've shared with me so far today, I really would recommend that you consider joining me for the XYZ program, because I know that that's going to help you make significant progress towards your ultimate goal of ABC, for example. But after you make the recommendation, make a strong recommendation, and don't be afraid to tell the client that in your, I might actually say to a client, in my opinion, I think this would be a really good thing for you to do. So don't be afraid for your recommendation to be quite strong. But when you do that, always back that up by reminding them that the decision is theirs and theirs alone. Because the thing is, there's nothing that I or anybody else can teach you to make somebody buy from you if they're not convinced. So you may as well respect the fact that you're dealing with another human being who's got through life this far and is entirely capable of making their own decisions. And even if you strongly believe that they're making the wrong decision, telling them that will only have the effect of you appearing to come across as pushy. Another thing you can do at this stage once you've reminded them that the decision is theirs to make and only theirs, is to acknowledge that the decision might be difficult, and this can be the case. There are all sorts of reasons why it might be hard for your client to make a decision about buying from you. It might be that your program has a relatively high investment, which is quite a stretch for your typical ideal client group. It might be that you have a very unusual methodology that your client hasn't come across before. Perhaps your client is suffering with a high level of anxiety or a high level of uncertainty in some area of their life, both of which can really impair people's ability to make clear decisions. So it can really help the client for you to acknowledge that, yes, this is a big decision, because it helps them to understand that you are going to allow them the space to make that decision. And when they've got the space to make it, they're so much more likely to come to a yes decision. People very often come to the no decision when they feel backed into a corner, because no just feels like the only comfortable way out. So if you have done a really good job of listening to that client, understanding exactly where they're at right now, you're clear in your own mind that you can help them, and you know how to articulate what you do in terms of its benefits to them and provide all of the practical information that they need in order to be able to make a clear decision, and you've communicated all of that to the client, like you've led them through that conversation step by step, you've communicated all of that to them clearly in step 6, you have done your job. You can sit back and relax now. Now it's the client's turn to do their job. They are more than capable of taking it from here. And if you've done your part of the job well, you can trust them to make their own decision. And once they have made their decision, listen to that decision and acknowledge it. So if the decision is yes, please, you can have a little internal celebration moment and then move on to smoothly and seamlessly and confidently wrap up the details in such a way that you leave that client feeling very excited and very committed to working with you. But if it's a no thank you, it's also important that you acknowledge that you acknowledge their decision and their reason for making that decision, irrespective of whether you agree with it. Like even if it feels crystal clear to you that they're making a huge mistake, acknowledge that decision to them verbally. This lets them know that you've heard them, it lets them know that you respect them, and it also lets them know that you're not about to start arguing with them. And finally, be available to help guide them through any concerns, because sometimes your client will say no thank you, when really what they are is I'm actually on the fence here. I've said no because I'm starting to feel a bit uncomfortable, but actually I've just got a few concerns. So they may very well have a part of them that wants to work with you and can understand the benefits that you've communicated, but there will be some other concerns or resistance that you might need to work through. And offering to help to gently sort of work through that with them, rather than taking the argumentative tone that comes with traditional objection handling, can really help to give the potential client the support as they come to the decision that is in their best interests. So, just to recap, really important that you respect that potential client and allow them to come to their own decision about working with you. Your job is to guide them through the conversation. If you want to learn more about how to do that and you haven't done so already, you can go to my website and sign up for the free training, the 7 Steps to Yes, which is a 7-step process for guiding somebody through a very authentic and comfortable sales conversation where you'll learn to do what I've talked about in this video today. And make sure that you're not directly telling the client what they should do. You can make a strong recommendation, you can make a strong invitation, you can make it very clear what your personal opinion is, but whatever you do, don't tell them what to do, and make it very clear that the decision is theirs and theirs alone, but you are here to provide all of the information, clearly communicate the benefits, and help to guide them through any concerns or resistance that they might have on the way to making that decision. So I hope this has been useful for you today. If it has, scroll down and pop a note in the comments and let me know if this is going to change something about the way that you manage your own sales conversations and sales processes. And I will say goodbye for now. See you next time. Bye-bye.